Hello everyone, I hope you all are doing just great out there. Today we are going to talk about radio program production and radio program formats. So let's discuss them. Let me share my PowerPoint presentation with you. Here you are. So today's topic is basically formats of radio programs. Some of the factors you need to take into the consideration when you are making program for radio. Think of the village or a town in which you live, because most of the time radio stations usually deal with the community broadcasting. So whatever you are producing, it should be related to your community. So you will find people belonging to all communities, men and women, rich and poor. Radio plays a very important role in the lives of the people of Pakistan, and especially in the life of the people who are living in rural areas of Pakistan. Though there are plenty of rich people and highly developed cities, a majority of our people are poor, and a large number of them cannot read or write. And mostly they are living in rural area. So the only medium they can really reach, or they can really get, is radio, in order to get themselves educate and get some entertainment or information. So radio stations, especially those run by the government, perform a public service duty. Some of the formats of the radio programs, the requirement of the listener of the radio stations are not the same. Let's say if you are running a radio station in Lahore, probably the requirement of the people will be different compared to a radio station that is managed in Quetta or in Peshawar. So we need to know many facts about them. So let's make a list of what we should know about our audience. So first thing first is, when you are producing for radio, you need to know your audience. Number of the people in total population of your area, number of men and women, what is their sex ratio, literate people or illiterate people, languages they speak in that specific area, school and colleges in that specific area, children going to schools, health facilities availability of doctors, primary health centers, clinics, pharmacies, etc., hospitals, any major disease that is recurring in that specific area, religion in the area population wise, power supply, nearest radio stations, television stations, climate of the place, main occupation of the people, income per head, roads, transport facilities, irrigation facilities, number of people engaged in agriculture and other occupations, types of crops. So you must be thinking why we need to learn all these things about your audience, because it will help you to design specific program for them. Let's say religion of that area tells you that the majority of the people in that area are Hindus, so they have different kind of customs, they have different kind of festivals, they have different kind of food probably. So it all these factors will definitely going to help you to determine that what type of programming you need to produce for the audience of your radio station. These are some types of the radio formats. A radio format can be split into three parts: spoken word or the human voice, music, sound effects. So all radio formats have the above these three ingredients. So let's first classify the spoken word format. Spoken words, announcements. These are specifically written clear messages to inform. They can be of different types. For example, station program identification. These mention the station you are tuned into, the frequency of the station, time and the program or the song you are going to listen. These are called announcements. As mentioned already, you find in today's commercial radio channels, these announcements have become informal and resemble ordinary conversations. They can be more than one presenter in some programs like magazines, radio talks. The radio talk probably is the oldest format on radio. There has been a tradition in Pakistan and Britain to invite experts on prominent people to speak for 10 to 15 minutes on a specific topic. And similar kind of talks you every day you see in television as well. So these talks have to go through a process of being changed into reduced spoken word style. Over the year, these long radio talks have become unpopular. Instead, today's shorter duration talks are broadcasted. Of course, you can listen to these talks only on public service broadcasting stations, radio interviews. There is a difference between talk and the interview. Uh, so, in media, be it the newspaper, magazine, radio, or the television, journalists use this technique of asking questions to get information. So there can be different types of interviews in terms of their duration, content, and purpose. Firstly, there are full-fledged interview programs. The duration of these may vary from 10 minutes to 30 minutes or even 60 minutes. But 60-minute interview is too long even for the television program as well, where you have pictures. And for the radio, 10 to 15 minutes is more than sufficient. So usually duration always depends on the type of program or the topic. So most of such interviews are personality based. You might have heard of long interviews with well-known people in the field of public life, literature, science, sports, film, etc. Secondly, there are interviews which are used in various radio programs like documentaries, discussions. When you have problem in your family or with your friends, don't you say let's discuss it? So yes, we do, because discussion is very much important. So discussion format is also very important in radio. Through a discussion we can find out a solution to our problem. So in any discussion there are more than two or three people, and then idea can be pooled to come to some conclusion. So in radio, this technique is used to let people have different point of views on matter of public concern. So radio discussions are produced when there are social or economic issues which may be controversial. So when different experts meet and discuss such issues, people understand various points of view. Generally, these discussions on radio are of longer duration, says 15 to 30 minutes, and sometimes 40 minutes as well. So two or three people who are known for their views and a well-informed senior person or a journalist who acts as a moderator take part in a discussion program. So the moderator conducts the discussion, introduces the topic and the participants, um, and ensures that everyone gets enough time to speak and all the issues are and all the angles are discussed or covered. Documentaries and features. So if you see a film in a movie hall, it's generally a feature film which is story based and not real. But there are also documentary films which are based on real people and real issues. So a lot of programs you see on television are educational and public service and documentaries. Radio also has this format. Unlike documentary films, radio documentaries have only sound, the human voice, music, and sound effect. So a radio documentary is a program based on real sounds, real people, and their views and experiences all are real. So you have to remember this, the documentary films are real, even radio documentaries. So radio documentaries are based on fact presented in an attractive manner or dramatically. Radio documentaries are radio's own creative format. The producer of a documentary needs to be very creative to use human voice, script, music, and sound effects effectively. So radio documentaries are also called radio features. Drama. Probably you have seen a lot of dramas in a theater, in a hall, or on television as well. The only difference is that while a stage plays has actors, stage sets, curtains, properties, movement, and live action, a radio play has only three components. Um, and they are the human voice, music, and sound effects. So whatever you will do in radio, it will be either human voice or music or sound effects. So radio, of course, uses its greatest strength of producing radio plays, and that is the power of imagination and suggestivity. So, for example, if you want to have a scene in a radio play of a North Indian marriage, you need to have all physical arrangements made, and all that you have to do is to use a bright tune on the Shahnai and excited voices of people to create in a listener's imagination a wedding scene when you are working for a radio. You do not need a huge setup, while if you are creating a wedding in a film, you need to have a huge set. But for radio, you only need audio. So the voice of the actors, music, and sound effects can create any situation in a radio play. So most of the radio plays are recorded in studios without sets, and sometimes one actor is basically giving voice to many characters, running commentaries. If you cannot go to see a football or cricket match in the stadium, you may watch it on television, but for that you have to be at home or at some place where there is a television. But if you are traveling or outside, then you may listen to radio for running commentary or of the match. A commentator would give you all the details of the match, such as the number of the players, the score, position of the players in the field, etc. So by listening to the running commentary, you get a feeling of being in the stadium and watching that match. So the commentator needs good communication skills, a good voice, and knowledge about what is going on. Running commentaries on radio can be on various sports events like cricket, football, hockey, etc., etc. Even on public Republic Day parades or events like festivals, meals, Eid, Ramadan, etc., etc. Magazine program. A radio magazine is broadcasted at a particular time on a particular day of a week or of a month. That means it has some periodicity. Similarly, it has plenty of variety in content. Some or many formats of radio are included in a radio magazine. These may be talks, discussion, interviews, reviews, music, etc. Another characteristic of a radio magazine is that it has a signature tune. A signature tune is an attractive piece of music which is specific to a program. It can be like the masthead of a magazine. If you remember our lecture from parts of newspaper, so the masthead is every newspaper has a different masthead. A magazine program also has a name and one or two presenters or anchors persons who link the whole program. So in the beginning, the title of the day of the programs will be given by the presenter. After that, there will be a signature tune. They also give continuity and link to the whole magazine program. Magazine programs are generally broadcasted for a special or specific audience. News. Among all the spoken word formats on radio, news is the most popular. News bulletins and news programs are broadcasted every hour by radio stations. In Pakistan, only Radio Pakistan is allowed to broadcast news. Duration of news bulletins vary from 5 minutes to 30 minutes. But again, 30 minutes is too much. The longer news bulletins have interviews, features, reviews, and comments from the experts. Music. So there are three types of classical musics in India and Pakistan. They are Pakistani classical, Carnatic classical, Western classical, and we can call them simple classical as well. Information technology programs, phone-in programs, basically. In this age of technology development, phone-in is the most important format. Usually, people call in the program and they ask presenter to play their favorite song or their favorite programs, etc., etc. They are called phone-in program. Radio bridge. Radio bridge means connecting different stations throughout the length and breadth of the country. In this technique, for example, an expert sitting at Lahore can interact with the common man in studio in Karachi. Nowadays, because everything is on internet, most of the radio stations, they have shifted their transmission on the internet, and a lot of radio stations are broadcasting on airwaves as well, and they are broadcasting on internet as well. So that's it, guys. Thank you very much, and see you in next class. Take care of yourself. Allah Hafiz.